Hi folks, I'm Jem, the Crazy Pigeon Lady, and it's my mission to entertain, educate and inspire you with all things pigeon and dove. Welcome back to my series Fun Fact Friday, and these last few Fun Fact Fridays are inspired by the movie Spies in Disguise, where Will Smith plays a super spy who has to solve his next case whilst in the guise of a pigeon, with the help of his pigeon-loving scientist colleague. Now, this week's fun fact, are pigeons social? Before I move on, I shall say that this fun fact is specifically about the rock pigeon, Columba livia, the species that is the ancestor of all feral and domestic pigeons. Now, during the movie, the scientist Walter is regaling Will Smith's character, the super spy, with why it's really cool to be a pigeon and share some fun facts. And in the movie, he mentions that pigeons are flock animals. And this becomes a recurring theme throughout the film, the importance of the ability of working as a team and how pigeons do that in order to be successful. So, is this true or false? Are rock pigeons social and operate as a flock? So whilst most pigeon and dove species are what we call solitary, that is to say they operate and live and exist as individuals or in their own small family group, they don't require social contact with other birds specifically for their survival. They don't operate as a social group as a necessary part of how they need to survive as a species. Although many pigeon and doves are what we call gregarious, which means they are willing to gather with other birds in numbers where food sources are particularly abundant. But that's not necessarily a fundamental part of how they survive. However, rock pigeons are one of the few species of pigeons and doves that are truly social. They live in colonies, on cliffs, and they operate as a flock. And they would do this to find food. So many eyes are better than one. They've got lots of individuals who are looking out for sources of food. So they would be able to find more food because there are more birds working together as a team. Also, not only would they have more eyes to look out for food, they would have more eyes to look out for predators, which means those birds that are feeding on the ground will be protected by other birds who have got their eyes looking out for predators, and that they would kind of take turns and move around, and different birds would be watching for predators while other birds are feeding, which tries to increase the flock's safety. And many eyes looking out for predators means that it's more likely that a predator will be spotted quickly and give the birds enough time to escape. And in fact, if a predator did come near to a flock and threatened them, a pigeon would fly up, and the clapping sound of their wings would act as a signal to other birds to fly away and to escape that predator. They also do warning signals and things like that to keep each other safe. They also operate as a flock to raise their young. So whilst many pigeons and doves, after their young have fledged the nest, actually stay with them for a period of time to teach them how to forage and find food, rock pigeons actually don't help their young to do that. They actually start laying eggs and raising the next lot of chicks before their previous lot of chicks are actually fully independent. So once they leave the nest and they're weaned onto solid food, they actually integrate with the flock. And rather than learning all of the survival skills from their parents, they learn them from the social group. And that's why pigeons are very good at imitating and copying other birds, because that's how they learn. Also, rock pigeons operate as a flock for an effect called predator dilution, which means when the larger the group of individuals, the smaller the probability of any individual bird being captured by one particular predator. And it makes it harder for predators, particularly airborne predators like birds of prey, to target any specific individual while there are lots and lots of birds. That's where we get the phrase safety in numbers. In the flocks, because they operate as a social group, they have a social pecking order, and therefore relationships between birds, and particularly a structure of hierarchy of dominance, is very important to how the birds dominate. And the hierarchy will be topped by the dominant male birds. These are the ones who will get the best mates, the best nesting sites, and most of the food. And right down at the bottom of the pecking order would be the young birds who have just fledged and are learning the ropes from the group. And they may grow as they mature to become dominant birds, but initially they'll be right down at the bottom and of the pecking order and will literally be pecked as part of that. So they have to toughen up and learn how to work their way to the top. So there you go. This fun fact is true. Rock pigeons do operate as a flock, and they are very social as a necessary part of their survival. I hope that has been of interest to you. Please join me again for another Fun Fact Friday in the future. Please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you could be the first to hear about my next video. And I look forward to see you in the next one. Goodbye.